book lovers, it is G-Swizz here, and I'm here today to talk about all the book series that I want to read in 2022. If you didn't know, this is a 7 on Sunday topic, and I am the host of 7 on Sunday. I will link the Goodreads page down in the description where you can check it out, and you can participate in a topic in the future, or you can suggest a topic. I love preparing TBR videos. You guys can probably tell that by how many I prepare on my channel, but you guys show up for them, and I'm very grateful about that. I also like making videos based on series. If you don't know, if you haven't watched me for a while, I am definitely more of a series-based reader. I do read standalones every once in a while, but my main priority when it comes to my TBR are some series, because I love a good binge read. And I'm almost 100% certain that this list today that I'm going to share with you guys is going to be full-on binge-worthy. However, I will be leaving manga series out. I will be doing a manga TBR next week, so stay tuned for that. But right now, let's show off all the novels. Alright, so I put this series on my last year's TBR, don't judge me. And the reason why I've left this series for this year is because I didn't know that the series was going to be extended to a trilogy. It ended up being extended to a trilogy, so regardless of whether I finished the second book last year or not, it would have to end up on both years. And that, my friends, is the Kingdom of Sand and Sky trilogy, with the first book being The Princess Will Save You. I really loved this book both times that I read it. I'm almost 100% sure it made it on my top 20 favorite books of 2020. It was that good, in my opinion. It's one that I definitely rave about, and I will continue to rave about. But this series is finishing this year. I thought that it was going to be finishing last year. I thought that everything had to be tied up in a duology because Goodreads was saying so. There wasn't really any indication that this was going to be a trilogy. But I'm really happy that Torteen made sure Sarah Henning could tell the story in trilogy length. That is very rare these days, with everything being a duology or everything being a standalone. I have a feeling that I'm just going to binge read this. And never a series where I've read the first book, but I would like to continue on this year and finish the series because the final book's coming out this year, is the Prison Healer trilogy by Lynette Noni. I'm very much looking forward to the rest of the series. The Gilded Cage has already been released. I have not yet read the Gilded Cage. I need to before The Blood Trader comes out, so what I'm deciding to do is reread The Prison Healer and then proceed from there. How adorable is the Fairy Loot edition? I literally spent $200 on it from eBay, but it was really worth it because it's like rare now. I'm very much looking forward to how the series is going to continue because the cliffhanger at the end of The Prison Healer, I talk about this a lot, that ending left me feeling something. Pretty sure throughout the rest of the series I'm going to feel a lot of things. And the next book series that I'm pretty sure, as far as Goodreads says, that this series is going to be completed this year, so I'm just gonna take it as a completed series. If it continues on, it will end up on my next year's TBR. But that, my friends, is the Dark Olympus series by Katie Robert. The first book being Neon Gods, second book being Electric Idol, and honestly I forgot what the third title was. All I know is that Neon Gods and Electric Idol are released and the next book is to come, and that's gonna come like sometime in the middle of the year. The Dark Olympus saga is pretty much a companion trilogy so far. It's not necessarily extended beyond that from what I know. Also, based on all the hype and all the reviews, I'm very much looking forward to at least getting to Neon Gods this year, but I definitely do want to continue this series. I never usually read companion series. I technically started the Wicked Villains saga, but have not continued with that yet. That's an honorary mention, but I definitely do want to read the Dark Olympus saga because I hear that this one is chef's kiss. Amazing. This was not intentional. I did not intend for a Never Hades and Persephone retelling to be shown here, but I do want to read this duology that I've put off for years. I read the first book ages ago, but I totally forgot at this point what it was about. That, my friends, is the Star Touch Queen duology by Roshani Chokshi. So I read the Star Touch Queen like 3 years ago. Don't remember anything about it, to be honest. All I know is that this first book is a Hades and Persephone retelling. Definitely, from what I remember, is a lot cleaner than the idea of Neon Gods, or maybe even a touch of darkness, or maybe even Akamath for that matter. It makes sense because this is a young adult series, but I hear great things about the series, and I do remember that this first book was really good. I know that a lot of people love the second book, so I'm very much looking forward to continuing on and getting through this duology. After reading the Gilded Wolf series, I haven't really delved into Roshani Chokshi's writing, so I think it's about time to get back into her amazing books and pick up this series, even though I wasn't really a big fan of the rest of the Gilded Wolves saga. Hopefully this series leaves a better taste in my mouth. Here I bring up two titles tales from the same author. That, my friends, is Jennifer L Armentrout, and I finally want to get to some of her backlist series, such as the Lux series and the Covenant Saga. The Lux series I've actually already started. I actually read the first book already. I like it for its sci-fi paranormal aspects so far, and I think that it kind of reads like a contemporary, which kind of suits my Southern Hemisphere summer mood at the moment. However, I'm not a big fan of the romance as of yet, because technically at this point of the series, the romance doesn't really exist yet. It's definitely a lot more hate to love. I actually don't know why this cover is the cover. I mean, it's cute and all, but Damon's still a jerk in this book. But it's definitely gonna be a true hate to love dynamic. It's not like Damon's like irredeemable. It's just he's a bit standoffish because he's trying to protect his and his family's identity, whatever. I mean, I find the story pretty intriguing, but we'll see how this blends into a romance, and I'll eventually see whether I fall for Damon or not. And then with the Covenant Saga, I actually DNF'd this, not really intentionally, just because I thought I might have been in the mood to read something like this, but turns out I wasn't. I think I DNF'd it and then picked up Daughter of Smoke and Bone or The Cruel Prince. I don't remember which book series, but I tried this out and I realized that I was in a mood for a different kind of fantasy, so I did put this down. However, when I am ready to read a good paranormal fantasy romance that doesn't really have too much substance, that's probably going to help me maybe through a reading slump or maybe for guilty pleasure's sake, I don't know. The Covenant Saga is gonna be there for me. I don't really hear too many people talk about this one as much as I hear them talk about the Dark Elements or the Lux series. The Covenant Saga wasn't necessarily one that I hear a lot of people talk about. However, it's still kind of in the same lane. When I'm in the mood to read those books, or maybe I've passed reading those books, I'm going to fall into this series and see how I feel about it. And then I've got an independently published trilogy by Tessonja Odette, and that is the Shadows of Layla trilogy. So personally, I want to get into Tessonja Odette's writing. I've been seeing in the Bookstagram community that her fairy tale retellings are pretty popular and everybody's loving them. However, I was very curious about one of her older trilogies in her author catalog. I decided that I wanted to give this series a start first. I don't necessarily hear much about it, but I decided that I wanted to. Also, I was very intrigued by the color scheme of this fantasy trilogy. I do want to check out her fairy tale retellings eventually. At the moment, I want to try something that's maybe a little bit more original by her. I could be wrong. I don't actually know whether these are imaginings or not, or this is an original concept. And the next series I bring up is a series that I want to continue from last year. So I read the first book in the series in December of last year. I actually listened to the audiobook before I received the Fairy Loot editions of the Winter Night trilogy by Catherine Arden. I've listened to The Bear and the Nightingale, and I'm very much looking forward to continuing on. I very much loved the first book, and I love the world that we're exploring. Very much been enjoying the Russian folklore influences, and I'm looking forward to continuing on with the rest of the series. It is kind of like a companion series, but I'm pretty sure that the original cast of characters do pop up in the future books, so I'm definitely curious to see how this one goes. Speaking of special edition books, I also have the Greenbone Saga Illumicrate special editions. I read Jade City like a year and a half ago. Do I remember much about it? Not really. But what I do know is that I really do need to reread the first book and need to continue on, because I hear nothing but great things about this series. It's got aspects of action series that I really do love. It has like an underground organization. It has a really cool magic system. So many buzzwords. I hear so many great things about the Greenbone Saga. So I think it's really about time that I put the work in and that I actually get through this trilogy, and hopefully I will get through this trilogy this year. And then the next series that I definitely do want to read this year is the Charlotte Holmes series by Brittany Cavallaro. I read Muse by Brittany Cavallaro last year and absolutely loved it. The Charlotte Holmes series, I feel like I really do need to read just so that I can have more reading material by Brittany Cavallaro. I don't think that the Muse sequel is coming out this year, and I'm like really devastated about that. I need news on that sequel. I'm sincerely hoping that that series does not get cancelled. But in the meantime, I'm very much lucky that I get to settle with another one of her series, Charlotte Holmes series. I've heard great things about. I'm not necessarily a big Sherlock Holmes fan myself. I've watched the show a few times, I've seen adaptations, whatever, but I've never been like a huge fan. However, what I do know is that Brittany Cavallaro really rocked my socks off with Muse. So I want to see how her writing goes in another book series. And the next series that I bring up is the last series that I currently own on this list. But to proceed, I will show you some other series that I've pre-ordered, because I pre-ordered their special editions but don't currently own them. But before we get to that, I will be talking about the Bargainer trilogy by Laura Flessa, which I've also ordered a special edition set from the Bookish Box, which the rest of the series that I will also mention, I've also ordered special editions from the Bookish Box. I cannot resist their special editions, but I have this large binder of the Bargainer trilogy. I don't even know why I actually bought it. What I do know is that I've wanted to read the Bargainer trilogy for a while, but I've put it off because I just know that it's gonna put me through a severe book hangover when I read it, because I hear that it is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. All those words, all that buzz I hear for the Bargainer series. So I'm very much looking forward to reading the Bargainer series, but I really need to start putting like my high priority TBR, like the books that I really want to read, on the top of my list. I just know that I'm gonna feel some type of way once I finish it. And next I'm gonna mention a series by the same author, but the covers are a lot less pleasant, but I've ordered the Bookish Box special editions. I'm pretty sure some of you guys know that I will be mentioning the Four Horsemen series by Laura Falesa. This is a quartet that follows the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. I don't know whether this is a companion series or like a closely knit series with like all of them combined. What I do know is that I really do not like these covers. All I'm gonna say is these covers were a choice. I'm very, very pleased to say that the Bookish Box special editions look beautiful, they look elegant, they look classical, they look perfect. And I'm pretty sure they will look perfect on everyone's bookshelves. This was, I'm pretty sure, a Black Friday special from the Bookish Box. I'm pretty sure that this set might have sold out by the time that I'm talking right now. I know that a few days ago, as I'm talking in this video, they did say they still had a few more left, but they were just about to run out. But yeah, I really do want to read this series because I do like the concept of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse and also fantasy romance. Like, yes please, sign me up, thank you. I also have heard amazing things about this one series alone from personal friends, Bookstagram, Book Twitter as well, like the whole lot. And the second last series that I have to bring up is the Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Carrie Maniscalco. I do not have the original copies of this. I have the Bookish Box special editions, which sold out, I'm pretty sure, within 48 hours of them going on sale at the Bookish Box. I remember getting up really early and doing my members only order of it. I was able to get early access, and these covers look absolutely stunning. I don't like the original covers, and that's a big reason why I've put off reading this series for a very long time. I've been so put off by the look of the series. Just every one of Carrie Maniscalco's books in general. Not necessarily because I hear bad things about them, because that's not the case. Everybody loves Carrie Maniscalco's books. However, her book covers just don't do it for me. And yes, I'm also including Kingdom of the Wicked. Very much looking forward to reading this series because I love the Kingdom of the Wicked series so far. So Stalking Jack the Ripper is sure to impress. And the final series that I bring up on this list is a series that I never thought in a million years that I would ever consider. And then I feel like the Bookish Box really got me. Yeah, I know a lot of people ordered the Fairy Loot editions of the series. I feel like the Bookish Box editions got overshadowed. Here's the thing, I think this is mostly Bookish Box's fault. Bookish Box, next time probably don't try to sell your set the same time Fairy Loot tries to sell their set, or like afterwards, like, or maybe try to sell it beforehand, because I'm pretty sure that this beautiful set hasn't yet sold out. And I prefer these designs over the Fairy Loot designs, like a little bit. And I do like the colored scheme of the Fairy Loot editions. However, the stenciled edges on the Bookish Box editions, I think that that's what beats the Fairy Loot editions. Anyway, The Diviners by Libba Bray. I didn't think that I was gonna read the series because it technically classifies as horror, but a lot of people say that it's not really that scary. And there are some magical realism fantasy elements that any fantasy or magical realism reader will enjoy. But I originally didn't want to read it because of potentially being really scared. I've heard that it's not really that scary even though it classifies as horror. I also do want to read some stuff from Libba Bray, but I hear great things about The Diviners. I'm not too sure about the ending. I think that the ending is pretty subjective. I was asking around before I decided to purchase this box set. It wasn't really a high priority for me, but it ended up taking my money. They are encouraging me to read more, I guess. So I guess that's gonna be it for this video today, book lovers. If you made it all the way to this point in the video, leave me a green heart emoji, you know, to match my nails. Come on guys, don't leave my green nails hanging. If you happen to enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. Join the amazing community of book lovers. And also, I have social medias. I'm at GSwizzleBooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/gswizzle. And finally, I'm at TikTok. I'm at GSwizzle on TikTok if you want to follow me there for some bookish content. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.
Started out with half and I flipped it in a double. Started out with half and I flipped it in a double.